In the wilds of Alaska's Amie National Park, a story unfolded that would capture the world's attention. It's a tale of fascination, passion, and tragedy. Welcome back, everyone. Today we delve into the extraordinary life and heartbreaking fate of Timothy Treadwell and Amie Huguenard, two individuals whose love for grizzly bears would lead to one of the most talked about stories in the world of wildlife conservation. Timothy Treadwell, formerly known as Timothy Dexter, was born in Long Island, New York in 1957. He was one of the 5 children of Val Dexter and Carol Ann. In high school, he was the swimming team star diver. He was very fond of animals and kept a squirrel named Willie as a pet. In an interview in Grizzly Man, which came out in 2005, his parents say he was an ordinary young man until he went away to college. He attended Bradley University on a swimming and diving scholarship. There he claimed to be a British orphan, and on other occasions claimed that he was from Australia. According to this account, his father said Timothy spiraled down and became an alcoholic. In 1987, he legally changed his surname from Dexter to Treadwell, a name from his mother's family that he had used informally for some years now. A lover of animals since he was a child, Timothy decided to travel to Alaska to watch bears after a close friend persuaded him to do so. He wrote that after his first encounter with a wild bear he knew, he had found his calling in life, and that now his destiny was entwined with those of the bears. According to his book, Among Grizzlies Living with Wild Bears in Alaska, his mission to protect bears began in the late 1980s. After he had survived a near-fatal heroin overdose, he claims in his book that his drug addiction grew from his alcoholism, and attributed his recovery from drug and alcohol addictions entirely to his relationship with bears. Before we continue, let's get an understanding of the schedule that bears have in Amie National Park. Hibernation starts anywhere between October and November and goes all the way till April. From early to mid-September, bears start to stock up on food. This is a time where visitors are told to be extra vigilant. Depending on the amount of food and competition the bears have had, they may see humans as a potential food source. Timothy was very well versed in this information as he had spent 13 summers in the unforgiving Alaskan wilderness, where he had forged an intimate bond with the bears. He formed a different type of bond with the park rangers and the National Park Service. They warned Timothy that his relationship with the bears would inevitably turn deadly. Not only were the bears enormous, weighing up to 1,000 pounds and standing taller than a man when up on their hind legs, they felt he was interfering with the natural order of the parks. Timothy was cited so many times that a rule was created and named because of him. The rule was called the Treadwell Rule. It states that all campers must move their camps at least 1 mile every 5 days in order to keep the bears from getting too comfortable with humans. The year of the tragic incident, Timothy and his girlfriend Amie arrived in Amie National Park in late June of 2003. They set up camp at a place called the Big Green. Timothy would call it the Grizzly Sanctuary. It was located in Hollow Bay. The reason it was called the Grizzly Sanctuary is that there was a large area of green grassland with great visibility, be able to see them, take pictures and videos. And here's an image you can see of how close he is with the bears. The scenery itself looks beautiful. Now, later on, he would move from there to an area called the Grizzly Maze. It's a far more densely wooded area that had intersecting lines of grizzly paths. Either they were going from their burrows to a feeding ground or vice versa. Around this time, friends and family say he had withdrawn himself from the modern world, and even Timothy admitted he felt far more comfortable in nature with the bears than he ever did with humans. He was getting increasingly reckless. Timothy and Amie extend their stay 1 week in an effort to locate a favorite female brown bear not seen earlier, and this was during early October, late September, so somewhere around September 29th, they decided to extend their stay. Timothy also writes in his diary that Amie believes he is hell-bent on destruction, and that this will be her last season in Alaska with him, leaving him for good, and that she was looking forward to starting a new job and desperate to return to California. Unfortunately, we know this did not happen. On Sunday, October 5th, 2003, sometime between 11 a.m. and 12 p.m., Timothy and Amie make a satellite phone call to a program director of Grizzly People, and there was apparently no problem at the time. Both seemed excited and in happy spirits, having located the missing soul. Earlier on the same day, Timothy phoned his pilot friend to fly his float plane in to pick them up on the beach the following afternoon. When the pilot arrived the very next day, he immediately realized something was wrong. The campsite was not packed up and everything seemed too quiet. And his suspicions were completely affirmed when he saw the bear stalking the area as if it was protecting its prey. Immediately he contacted the park rangers and also the park services. When they arrived, they found the body of Amie and what was left of Timothy. Now, the details that we go into after this does include what was found, and unfortunately, Timothy was not whole, so viewer discretion is advised. Please skip to this timestamp. Now, what was found of Timothy was his mangled head, part of his spine, his right forearm, and his hand were recovered a short distance from the camp. His wristwatch was still attached to his arm and still ticking. Amie Huguenard's remains were found partially buried under a mound of twigs and dirt next to the torn tents. The bear that attacked them was killed by rangers as it was being very aggressive towards them. Not just that, a younger bear was also killed in the process as it charged at the rangers. When looking at the contents of the stomach of the larger bear, the rangers were able to find the human remains of Timothy. So they were able to conclude that they did kill the bear that had attacked. In the park's 85-year history, this was the first known bear-inflicted death. However, the story was not finished yet. There was another horrifying aspect of the story to be still discovered. Now, as the bodies were taken to the morgue, the rangers searched the couple's tents and belongings. Inside of one of the torn tents was a video camera with a 6-minute tape inside. At first, it appeared that the tape was blank as there was no video. However, the tape was not blank. Though the video was dark as a result of maybe being in a bag or having the camera lens still on, the audio was crystal clear. For 6 agonizing minutes, the camera captured the end of Amie and Timothy's lives, recording the sound of their screams as a bear ripped them apart. Now, the rangers that found this and listened to it say that this was the most horrifying thing they've ever heard in their life. The audio cut off after 6 minutes when the tape ran out, but those 6 minutes were traumatizing enough. After the rangers collected it, they refused to share it with anyone, keeping it from the public despite several filmmakers' attempts to get their hands on it. According to those who have heard it, it leaves a harrowing impression. After Timothy Treadwell's death, park rangers made it clear that while this is a rare incident, it serves as a reminder that bears are deadly animals. First and foremost, I want to give my condolences to both of the families of Timothy and also Amie. I especially feel bad for Amie as they were supposed to leave a week early and they would have never encountered this situation. This sets up as a reminder to all of us that animals are not to be trifled with. We must understand the dangers that they pertain to us. We need to know exactly what type of animals are out there whenever we go out into the wilderness, and we need to protect ourselves in the right way. I would recommend, especially in bear country, a high caliber handgun per person that's there. Always extremely sad whenever I read up and learn about these stories that are out there. To my viewers that are going into the backcountry, especially now for hunting, I wish you the best of luck in your hunt, and I hope that all of you are taking the necessary precautions beforehand. I do have a Reddit page that I started, and I would love to hear about the success of your hunts or any stories that you may have from your adventures. I might share them here as well. I will add the link in the description down below. Once again, be careful, be safe, be aware.